Welcome, curious minds and sleepy thinkers. You've found a soft place to land where the questions are big and the pace is slow enough not to jolt you out of your pillow cocoon. Tonight, we're going to tiptoe into one of the most mysterious questions ever asked. How is it that a technology from a bygone era still whispers tales from the very edge of our universe, spanning distances that defy imagination? But don't worry, we'll take it slow. This isn't a race through equations. It's more like floating through a galaxy of ideas with a cup of chamomile tea, letting the gentle current of thought carry us where it may. Imagine, if you will, the vast echoing silence of deep space. It's a realm where distances stretch beyond human comprehension, where light takes hours, even days, to bridge the gaps between celestial bodies. In this profound emptiness, time itself seems to slow, transforming even the most cutting-edge technology into a relic of the past, long before it reaches its grandest destinations. It's one of life's subtle ironies, isn't it? That it is not a gleaming new state-of-the-art machine, born of the latest advancements, that is furthering our understanding, most profoundly at the very edge of our solar system. Instead, it's an old machine, a gentle whisper from the 1970s, carrying secrets and insights that continue to unfold even today. Think of it as a lone, ancient lantern, its flickering flame unwavering, casting light far into the cosmic night. This isn't a bright modern floodlight, but a humble, enduring glow illuminating paths we never knew existed. This old machine, this silent storyteller, has an onboard computer with less memory than the tiny chip nestled inside your car's key fob. It still relies on the clunky, yet steadfast 8-track magnetic tape from an era when bell-bottoms were in style and disco balls spun under shimmering lights. This makes it older than many of us who are listening right now, a true testament to the conundrum of deep space exploration. Vast distances and impossibly long travel times mean that the technology we launch today might be considered quaint, even antiquated by the time it reaches its most ambitious targets. It's like planting a tiny sapling, knowing that by the time it grows into a mighty ancient tree, the world around it will have transformed beyond recognition. The challenges are immense, requiring not just powerful rockets, but an even more profound kind of patience. The patience of geological time measured in the quiet ticking of light years rather than seconds. And yet, despite these immense hurdles, the record-setting spacecraft we speak of continues its silent journey. It is, of course, the nearly 45.5-year-old Voyager 1 probe and its steadfast twin, Voyager 2. These two venerable travelers, these two most seasoned mariners of humanity, became the very first human-made objects to reach interstellar space. Imagine them as the first intrepid sailing ships to venture beyond the familiar shores of our home planet and into the uncharted boundless ocean of the cosmos. Their journey is a testament to human ingenuity and perseverance, a quiet epic unfolding across the fabric of space-time. Communication with these distant pioneers is an exercise in extreme patience and precision. It takes over 21 hours for NASA to send a radio signal to Voyager 1 and then receive its reply, covering a staggering distance of 23 billion kilometers. Compare that to the mere 20 minutes it takes to send a radio signal to Mars, our relatively close celestial neighbor. It's like trying to have a conversation with someone standing at the very edge of an enormous echoing canyon. Every word is sent out into the void, and an eternity seems to pass before a faint whisper, a mere echo, returns. Yet those whispers carry invaluable data, the very essence of discovery. While it's astonishing to think that we can still communicate with these probes using a mere 3.7-meter antenna over such an immense distance, it becomes even more incredible when you consider the technology they rely on. These probes are whispering their tales back to us using equipment that would look more at home in a dusty museum exhibit than nestled within the gleaming laboratories of NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. It's a paradox, isn't it? The very act of pushing the boundaries of human exploration is being carried out by machines that by today's standards are almost comically outdated. For such technology to have done so well lasting so long, beating all records, it must have been truly special. It raises a gentle question. What hidden secrets lie inside these metal shells? How were the engineers of the Voyager mission able to build spacecraft capable of operating continuously for such an extraordinary length of time, defying all expectations and setting records that seemed impossible? It speaks to a profound understanding of fundamental principles, a wisdom in design that transcends the fleeting trends of technological advancement. It's as if they built not just machines, but enduring testaments to the power of foresight and meticulous craftsmanship. Join me today as we gently explore the technology of the Voyager probes and learn how a series of shrewd engineering choices made decades ago paved the way for what has become arguably the most ambitious and stunningly successful mission in the entire history of space exploration. It's a story not just of circuits and wires, but of vision and determination of human spirit reaching out into the unknown and leaving an indelible mark. Though the Voyagers were initially conceived for a relatively modest 5-year mission, primarily to explore the gas giants, Jupiter and Saturn, and their enigmatic larger moons, the team of forward-thinking scientists and engineers behind them harbored a quiet ambition that stretched far beyond the initial brief. They were like gardeners planting seeds, not just for a season, but for generations to come, making choices that would allow their creations to endure far longer than strictly necessary. They made a number of subtle, yet profound design choices that enabled the probes to hold up over a much longer journey, one that would take them far beyond their initial planned destinations. To recap their remarkable odyssey, after gracefully completing all of its initial objectives at Jupiter and Saturn, the Voyager 2 mission team, emboldened by the probe's surprising resilience, added unexpected flybys of Uranus and Neptune. These were not part of the original script, but rather spontaneous acts of exploration, akin to a traveler discovering hidden pathways on a familiar map. Once these 2 additional planetary encounters were successfully completed, NASA, recognizing the extraordinary capabilities of their enduring spacecraft, announced the start of the even more ambitious Voyager Interstellar mission. The purpose of this final grand journey was to explore the outer limits of the Sun's sphere of influence and eventually venture beyond it into the vast, silent sea of interstellar space. This was a leap of faith, a commitment to pushing the boundaries of human knowledge into realms previously accessible only in theory. This ultimate leg of their voyage would take both probes off the ecliptic, the plane in which most planets orbit, directing them towards unexplored parts of the solar system. Imagine them diverging from a well-worn path, striking out into truly unknown wilderness. They would journey through regions such as the termination shock, where the solar wind dramatically slows down, encountering the denser and hotter heliosheath, a kind of cosmic bubble surrounding our sun. Finally, they would cross the heliopause, the very edge of the sun's magnetic and particle influence, and truly enter the cold, dark embrace of interstellar space. Each of these boundaries represents a whisper from the deep, a layer of understanding peeled back, revealing more of the cosmos that cradles our tiny home. It's a journey into the fringes of our cosmic neighborhood, a quiet unraveling of the sun's vast invisible kingdom before stepping out into the boundless, starry ocean beyond. It's a story of unexpected turns of plans evolving with newfound capabilities, and of a quiet determination to see just how far the human spirit embodied in these 2 metallic messengers could truly reach. And it all began with a series of quiet, thoughtful decisions made by engineers who perhaps dreamed a little bigger than they let on. Now let's gently drift into the story of how a short envisioned trip transformed into an epic interstellar migration. The initial blueprint for Voyager was modest, a 5-year jaunt to our planetary neighbors, Jupiter and Saturn. It was conceived as a relatively straightforward mission, a brief reconnaissance, much like sketching a simple outline of a magnificent painting. The goal was to take a quick close look at these gas giants and their larger intriguing moons. a fleeting glimpse perhaps of familiar faces in our cosmic neighborhood. But within the heart of the Voyager project team, nestled amongst the daily calculations and engineering drawings, lay a quiet ambition. These forward-thinking scientists and engineers with minds that seemed to see beyond the immediate horizon weren't just building probes for a 5-year sprint. They were perhaps unknowingly at the time sowing seeds of longevity, making subtle yet profound design choices that would allow these delicate machines to endure a journey far, far longer than anyone dared to openly dream of. It was like planting a tiny acorn, not merely for a season's shade, but with the quiet hope that it might one day grow into a towering oak, reaching towards the sky for centuries. They envisioned not just a short cruise, but a vessel capable of weathering unknown storms and charting courses far beyond the initial map. And so, after gracefully completing all of its initial objectives at Jupiter and Saturn, like a seasoned performer delivering a flawless first act, a remarkable thing happened. The Voyager 2 mission team, emboldened by the probe's surprising resilience and their impeccable performance, seized an unprecedented opportunity. They added unexpected bonus flybys of Uranus and Neptune. These weren't part of the original script, mind you. These were improvised solos, spontaneous acts of exploration that opened new unforeseen doors in the cosmic maze. Imagine a grand play where the actors, feeling the immense energy of the audience, decide to extend their performance, adding new thrilling scenes that were never rehearsed simply because the moment called for it. This extended tour of the outer solar system was a testament to the flexibility and adaptability of the human mind when faced with extraordinary success. Once these 2 additional planetary encounters were successfully completed and the breathtaking images and data streamed back to Earth, NASA, with a profound sense of awe and recognition for the extraordinary capabilities of their enduring spacecraft, made a momentous announcement. They declared the official start of an even more ambitious undertaking, the Voyager Interstellar mission. This was no longer just about exploring our planetary backyard. This was about venturing into the true wilderness, a commitment to pushing the boundaries of human knowledge into realms previously accessible only in the realm of theory and speculation. The purpose of this final grand journey was to explore the very outer limits of the sun's sphere of influence, its invisible kingdom, and eventually to step beyond it entirely into the vast, silent sea of interstellar space. Think of our sun as a mighty invisible king, its influence radiating outwards, shaping a magnificent, intricate kingdom around it. The Voyager probes were now tasked with charting the very borders of this kingdom to understand its whispered laws and hidden pathways before finally daring to step into the truly wild lands beyond. This ultimate leg of their voyage would take both probes off the ecliptic, that familiar, well-trodden plane where most of our solar system's planets gracefully orbit. It was like diverging from a main highway, taking a winding, unexplored path into truly unknown wilderness. They were directed towards parts of the solar system that had until then remained entirely unexplored regions that had only existed in the realm of theoretical models and speculative dreams. They would journey through enigmatic regions such as the termination shock, a cosmic boundary where the solar wind, that constant stream of charged particles flowing from our sun, dramatically slows down, encountering the resistance of the interstellar medium. Imagine a powerful river rushing with incredible speed, suddenly meeting a vast, still lake. At that point of contact, the river's flow is dramatically curtailed, its energy diffused into the calm waters. That's the termination shock, a place of subtle yet profound transition. Beyond this shock lay the denser and hotter Helios heath, a kind of cosmic bubble, an enormous protective cocoon that surrounds our sun and its planets. Think of it as a vast, elongated, teardrop-shaped chamber, filled with turbulent heated particles where the solar wind, now slowed and compressed, churns and interacts with the interstellar medium. It's like being inside a thick protective aura, shielding our solar system from the harsher realities of the galaxy beyond. It's a complex, dynamic region, a silent dance of cosmic forces playing out over billions of kilometers, and the Voyagers were our only eyes and ears within it. Finally, having traversed these intricate, invisible layers, they would cross the heliopause, the very edge of the sun's magnetic and particle influence. This is the true frontier, the final tenuous boundary, where the solar wind gives way to the interstellar medium, the vast rarefied gas and dust that fills the space between star systems. It's like stepping out of a warm, familiar room where the air is still and the light is soft, and into the bracing open air of a boundless dark night where only the distant pinpricks of other stars offer any solace. Each of these boundaries represents a whisper from the deep, a layer of understanding, gently peeled back, revealing more of the vast, intricate cosmos that cradles our tiny home. This journey into the fringes of our cosmic neighborhood is a quiet unraveling of the sun's vast invisible kingdom, a patient exploration of its outermost reaches before finally stepping out into the boundless starry ocean beyond. It is a testament to the persistent human drive to understand, to map, and to define the boundaries of our existence, even when those boundaries lie billions of kilometers away, shrouded in mystery and silence. The very concept of these extended missions, initially an audacious whisper among the engineers, blossomed into a full-fledged reality, fueled by the unwavering performance of the probes themselves. It's a story of unexpected turns of plans evolving organically with newfound capabilities, and of a quiet determination to see just how far the human spirit embodied in these two metallic messengers could truly reach. It underlines a fundamental truth about exploration. Sometimes, the most profound discoveries emerge not from rigid adherence to initial plans, but from the flexibility to embrace unforeseen opportunities, to listen to the whispers of the universe, and to follow where the path unexpectedly leads. And it all began with a series of quiet, thoughtful decisions made by engineers who perhaps dreamed a little bigger than they let on, imagining a future for their creations that stretched far beyond the confines of their initial design. Brief into the silent, star-dusted depths of the cosmos, let's now gently turn our attention to one of the most consequential decisions made by the Voyager engineers, a choice that laid the very foundation for the probe's incredible longevity, their energy source. Imagine the probes not merely as machines, but as living entities, needing a constant, reliable heartbeat to sustain their journey through the cold, silent depths of space. For Voyager, that heartbeat came from a remarkable piece of technology known as a Radioisotope Thermoelectric Generator, or RTG. These weren't just batteries. They were, in essence, tiny, enduring hearts of gold quietly beating with the steady rhythm of atomic decay. Each probe is equipped with such a long-lasting generator, a marvel of passive engineering. At its core, an RTG converts heat directly into electrical power. How does it do this? It harnesses the gentle, steady warmth produced by the natural decay of a specific isotope, plutonium-238. Think of it as a miniature self-contained sun, glowing softly within the probe's metallic shell, ceaselessly emitting warmth. This warmth isn't intense or explosive. Rather, it's a constant, gentle emanate, much like a small underground spring that never ceases to flow, bubbling up with a steady, reliable stream of energy from a source hidden deep within the Earth. Upon takeoff, these remarkable generators were capable of producing a modest 157 watts of electrical power. To put that into perspective, it's about enough to power a laptop and perhaps simultaneously charge a mobile phone. This might not sound like much, does it? In a world of supercomputers and power-hungry devices, 157 watts seems almost quaint. But for the Voyagers, this humble trickle of power was more than sufficient to breathe life into their instruments and systems. It was a testament to the efficient, parsimonious design philosophy adopted by the engineers, a recognition that every watt counted when venturing into the boundless void. They understood that in the vastness of space, a modest, enduring flame is far more valuable than a brief, brilliant flash. The genius of a radioisotope generator lies in its long-term reliability. Unlike solar panels, which would become utterly useless once the probes ventured too far from the sun's illuminating embrace, an RTG carries its fuel source with it. The power production, while not constant in its exact output, diminishes at an incredibly slow and predictable rate. It's like a finely crafted candle designed to burn slowly and steadily, bringing light and warmth through many long hours, rather than a quick flaring match. The strength of the power output would half yes, but only after an astounding 87.7 years. Imagine a light source that dims so imperceptibly slowly, you would hardly notice the change over the course of a human lifetime. This meant that even as the probes continued, their decades-long journey stretching further and further into the cosmic twilight, there would still be enough power to keep the absolute essentials running. The critical instruments, the communication systems, the very lifeblood of the probes would remain operational until at least 2025, and likely even beyond, defying the conventional lifespan of most human-made machines. This long-term energy capacity was no happy accident, no stroke of blind luck. It was a conscious, deliberate choice, a testament to the foresight and meticulous planning of the Voyager team. You see, when the Voyagers embarked on their grand adventure in 1977, NASA faced a unique and fleeting opportunity. The planets of our outer solar system were poised to enter a rare alignment and celestial ballet that occurs only once every 176 years. The last time this cosmic dance had unfolded in such a perfect configuration, allowing for such a precise gravitational slingshot, was during Napoleon's first reign. It was a narrow window, a cosmic keyhole that would open for only a brief moment in the grand sweep of time, offering an unparalleled chance for a grand tour of the outer solar system. This rare alignment wasn't just a beautiful coincidence, it was a profound strategic advantage. It would not only allow the Voyagers to visit Neptune and Uranus with minimal course adjustment, essentially a cosmic shortcut, but it would also give the probes a gravity assist from each of the 4 outer giants they visited. Imagine a skateboarder gathering speed by pumping their legs on a gentle slope, then using that momentum to roll up another incline, gaining even more velocity. This is precisely what a gravity assist does. The probe borrows a tiny fraction of a planet's orbital energy, swinging by it in just the right way to accelerate dramatically, thereby increasing its effective velocity far beyond what it could achieve from its own rocket propulsion alone. It's a masterful piece of cosmic billiards, a silent, elegant transfer of energy. However, this narrow window, this fleeting cosmic opportunity, presented NASA with a strict and unforgiving deadline. There simply wasn't enough time to plan and execute separate follow-up missions to each of these distant worlds. And just as importantly, the United States Congress, with its ever-watchful eye on budgets, wouldn't earmark enough funding for a longer multi-mission expedition like the Grand Tour, a much more extensive and ambitious concept that NASA had initially proposed. They were faced with a dilemma, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, constrained by the realities of time and budget. So what did the brilliant minds behind the Voyager team do? They devised a series of engineering feats, not just to meet the immediate goals, but to optimize the probes for a potentially much longer unplanned mission. They didn't just build for what was known, they built for what might be. They dared to dream of a journey that transcended the official brief, and they fervently hoped that the necessary funding, or at least the quiet understanding, would follow their audacious technological leap. It was a gamble, a silent act of faith in the resilience of their creations and the enduring human drive to explore. They designed into the very fabric of the probes an intrinsic capacity for endurance, a quiet promise of a journey far grander than anyone had initially sanctioned. The strategic choice of the RTG was fundamental to this vision. It liberated the probes from the tyranny of sunlight, allowing them to venture into the deep, dark reaches of the outer solar system and beyond, where solar panels would simply cease to function. This decision alone underscored a profound understanding of the challenges and opportunities of deep space. It was like providing a lone explorer with a self-sustaining campfire ensuring warmth and light, even when far from any source of fuel, allowing them to push deeper into uncharted wilderness than ever before. This long-term self-sufficient energy source was the quiet enabler of all the Voyager's subsequent unexpected triumphs, a silent testament to the power of a single, well-chosen design principle. It was the unwavering heart-pumping life into the dream of interstellar travel long before the term itself became a reality for humanity. Let's now turn our gaze to the ballet of the cosmos, a celestial dance that unfolded in the vast theater of our solar system and offered the Voyager probes an unparalleled opportunity. When the Voyagers launched in 1977, NASA faced a unique and fleeting moment, a cosmic keyhole that opened only once in what seemed like an eternity. The planets of our outer solar system were aligning in a rare configuration, a grand cosmic waltz that had last occurred during Napoleon's first reign, a staggering 176 years prior. Imagine a complex, intricate clockwork mechanism where all the gears and cogs align perfectly for just a precious moment, offering a glimpse into its inner workings. This was such a moment for our solar system, a fleeting gift of orbital mechanics. This rare alignment wasn't just a beautiful coincidence for stargazers. It was a profound strategic advantage, a silent invitation from the universe itself. It meant that the Voyagers, by carefully timing their departures, could visit not just one or two outer planets, but 4 Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune with minimal course adjustments between each encounter. Think of it as a cosmic shortcut, a perfectly paved road laid out by the gravitational pulls of the giant planets. Instead of needing to fire their engines repeatedly and expend precious fuel to navigate the immense distances between these worlds, the probes could simply surf on the gravitational waves created by the planets themselves. This intricate cosmic choreography allowed the probes to perform what is known as a gravity assist from each of the 4 outer giants they visited. Picture, if you will, a child on a swing, gently pushing off the ground to gain momentum. Now imagine a giant benevolent hand giving that swing an extra powerful push at just the right moment, sending it soaring much higher and faster than the child could ever manage on their own. That's essentially what a gravity assist does. The probe, much like the swing, borrows a tiny fraction of a planet's immense orbital energy as it slingshots around it. By swinging by a planet in just the right trajectory, the probe dramatically accelerates, increasing its effective velocity far beyond what it could achieve from its own rocket propulsion alone. It's a masterful piece of cosmic billiards, an elegant silent transfer of energy that is both economical and incredibly efficient. This technique was absolutely vital, allowing the relatively small Voyagers to gain the immense speeds necessary to traverse the vast distances of the outer solar system in a reasonable time frame. Without these gravitational slingshots, the journey to Neptune, for instance, would have taken decades longer, perhaps even a century, making the mission utterly impractical. However, this precious window, this fleeting cosmic opportunity, presented NASA with a strict and unforgiving deadline. The celestial dance would not last forever, and once the planets began to drift out of alignment, the elegant pathway would close. There simply wasn't enough time to plan and execute separate, independent missions to each of these distant worlds. Each mission would require years of planning separate launches and immense financial investment. And just as importantly, the United States Congress, with its ever-watchful eye on national budgets and its pragmatic approach to grand scientific endeavors, wouldn't earmark enough funding for a longer multi-mission expedition. This was particularly true for a concept as grand and ambitious as the Grand Tour, a much more extensive program of exploration that NASA had initially proposed, envisioning multiple spacecraft visiting various planets. The resources simply weren't available for such an expansive piecemeal approach. They were faced with a profound dilemma, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, a cosmic alignment that beckoned them onward, but constrained by the harsh realities of time and budget. It was like standing before a magnificent yet fleeting rainbow. You knew it would vanish soon, and you could only take one photograph, not an entire album. How do you capture the essence of such a transient beauty? So what did the brilliant minds behind the Voyager team do in the face of this beautiful, yet daunting challenge? They devised a series of engineering feats, not just to meet the immediate goals of a simple Jupiter-Saturn flyby, but to optimize the probes for a potentially much longer, utterly unplanned mission. They didn't just build for what was known for the immediate sanctioned task. They built for what might be for the audacious possibility that their creations might outlast their original purpose and venture into realms undreamed of. They infused every design choice with an intrinsic capacity for endurance and adaptability. They dared to dream of a journey that transcended the official brief of voyage that would stretch across decades and billions of miles. And in a quiet act of faith, they fervently hoped that the necessary funding, or at least the quiet understanding and continued support, would follow their audacious technological leap. It was a gamble, a silent act of faith in the resilience of their creations, and the enduring human drive to explore, even if it meant pushing the boundaries of what was officially sanctioned. They didn't just design a vehicle. They sculpted a vessel imbued with the spirit of an adventurer. Ready to sail beyond the horizon, the engineers' vision extended beyond the mere operational requirements. They anticipated potential failures and designed redundancies into critical systems, like weaving a strong, intricate safety net beneath a tightrope walker. They meticulously selected materials and components known for their durability and long-term stability. Understanding that every single part, no matter how small, would need to withstand the relentless assault of cosmic radiation, extreme temperature fluctuations, and the sheer emptiness of space for an unimaginable duration. It was like crafting a delicate timepiece that needed to keep perfect time for centuries, exposed to the elements without ever being rewound or repaired. They thought about every single watt of power, every byte of data, every ounce of fuel. They optimized trajectories with such precision that the probes conserved energy even as they gained speed like a master chess player, thinking many moves ahead, anticipating every possible outcome. This allowed them to prolong the active life of the probes, stretching their limited resources to the absolute maximum. It wasn't just about getting there. It was about getting there and then continuing to whisper back home for as long as humanly possible. This level of foresight, this quiet dedication to a future beyond the immediate, is what truly sets the Voyager mission apart. It speaks to a profound respect for the unknown, an understanding that the universe often reveals its deepest secrets only to those with the patience and the tools to listen over long stretches of time. The planetary alignment provided the slingshot, but the engineer's ingenuity provided the wings, and the RTGs provided the enduring heart. Together, these elements transformed a limited mission into an almost limitless journey, a testament to the power of human vision intersecting with the grand, elegant mechanics of the cosmos. And so these two probes, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2, embarked on their extended grand tour, surfing the gravitational waves of Jupiter and Saturn, then peeling off into the outer solar system towards Uranus and Neptune. Journeys that would have been impossible without the exquisite timing of the planetary alignment and the brilliant engineering choices that enabled them to harness this rare cosmic opportunity. They truly became silent, swift navigators, propelled by the very fabric of the cosmos itself, carrying humanity's quiet curiosity far into the unknown. Let's gently transition now to the inner workings of these remarkable spacecraft, peering into the silent symphony of their advanced technical features. Each of the Voyager probes, these distant metallic explorers, is equipped with 11 scientific instruments meticulously designed to gather precious data from the far reaches of our solar system and beyond. Think of these instruments as the probe's senses, its eyes, ears, and touch, allowing it to perceive and interpret the cosmic environment around it. What's truly ingenious about their design, and a key to their astonishing longevity, is the foresight of their creators. Most of these instruments have redundancies, meaning there are backup systems in place, carefully tucked away, ready to be activated in case of a machine failure. This is like having a spare set of eyeglasses or an extra hearing aid, waiting patiently should the primary one falter. This capability allows the mission control team back on Earth to toggle these instruments on and off, not just to manage data collection, but crucially to conserve power over the decades-long journey. It's a delicate dance of power management, ensuring that every precious watt of electricity serves its purpose efficiently to adjust their course and maintain their precise orientation, a vital necessity for both navigation and communication. The probes are equipped with an intricate set of tools. They have gyroscopes for stabilization, silent spinning tops that sense any deviation from their intended path, acting like invisible anchors in the vast ocean of space. These gyroscopes work in concert with referencing instruments that help the probes determine their exact position and bearing relative to distant stars, like a celestial compass always pointing the way home. And then there are the 16 hydrazine thrusters, tiny but mighty nozzles that emit controlled bursts of gas. These are the probe's delicate muscles, allowing it to make minute adjustments to its trajectory and attitude. Crucially, 8 of these thrusters are backups. This concept of backups, and indeed good backups, proved to be absolutely key to the Voyager probe's almost unbelievable longevity. It was a philosophy embedded deep within their design: anticipate failure and prepare meticulously for it. The importance of these redundancies became strikingly clear over the probe's extended lives. Consider the case of Voyager 2. After a remarkable 37 years of continuous operation, its main thrusters, the workhorses that had faithfully guided it through countless cosmic miles, finally began to falter. It was a moment that could have spelled the end of the mission, leaving the probe adrift and unable to orient itself for communication. But because of the engineer's foresight, its backup thrusters, which had lain dormant and idle for 4 decades in the cold vacuum of space, were commanded to engage. And guess what? They worked perfectly, springing to life as if they had just been installed. This wasn't just good luck. It was a powerful highlight of the excellent engineering that went into building these enduring machines, a quiet testament to the meticulous care and planning that allowed them to truly defy the ravages of time and distance. It's like finding an old forgotten tool in your shed, left untouched for decades. Yet when you pick it up, it still performs its task flawlessly. Beyond their physical systems, the Voyagers also house custom-built onboard computers. By today's standards, these computers are undeniably antiquated. The smartphone in your pocket possesses computing power that dwarfs what these pioneering machines carried. Yet in 1977, they were at the absolute cutting-edge marvels of miniaturization and processing power. These weren't just calculators. They were the probe's silent, tireless brains, making decisions and executing commands millions of miles from Earth. The probe's iconic wide-angle and narrow-angle lens cameras, which captured those breathtaking, never-before-seen images of Jupiter's swirling storms, Saturn's majestic rings, and the icy moons of Uranus and Neptune, were controlled by a specific computer system, the Computer Command Subsystem, CCS. This CCS was programmed with fixed routines and vital safeguards, such as fault detection and correction routines. Imagine a vigilant internal guardian constantly monitoring the probe's health, quickly identifying any anomalies or malfunctions, and attempting to rectify them automatically. This autonomous capability was crucial for a mission operating at such immense distances where direct human intervention in real time was simply impossible. It allowed the probes to think for themselves, ensuring their survival and continued operation even when out of immediate human reach. Another key to Voyager's success lay in its other onboard computers. Each probe had a specialized computer called the Attitude and Articulation Control Subsystem, AACS. And no, it doesn't scold the Voyagers when they get sassy. In the context of spacecraft, attitude refers to the probe's orientation with respect to the Earth. This might seem like a small detail, but it is of paramount importance. Without the correct attitude, the probe's large high-gain antenna would be unable to accurately send or receive signals from NASA's deep space network back on Earth. Think of trying to have a conversation across a vast empty field with a friend. If you're not both facing each other, your voices will simply be lost to the wind. This precise alignment is critical because the probe's transmitters have incredibly low power, only the wattage of a refrigerator light bulb. Imagine trying to project your voice across billions of kilometers with only the strength of a tiny glow. At such immense distances, their radio signals become barely detectable whispers, fragile echoes of light and information. To communicate with the Voyager team and vice versa, the probe's antenna must be facing the Earth with pinpoint accuracy, and the deep space network on Earth must in turn know exactly where the probes are in the vast, ever-expanding cosmos. Otherwise, they would be utterly lost, like a single microscopic needle in a haystack, stretching 287 billion kilometers wide, an unfathomable expanse of nothingness. The AACS ensures that this fragile connection is maintained a thread of communications woven across the cosmic void. Each Voyager spacecraft features a large 3.7-meter antenna for real-time transmission, a gleaming dish that acts as its primary voice and ear in the cosmos. But what about all the data gathered when the antenna isn't perfectly aligned, or when there's too much information to send back instantaneously? For this, the probes were equipped with an 8-track digital tape recorder, DTR. Yes, a tape recorder reminiscent of the music players of the 1970s. This DTR was capable of buffering 536 megabits of data for future transmission, enough to store roughly 100 photographs from the outer solar system. While this was still a huge step up from the earlier Pioneer probes, which had no onboard data storage at all, it's a mere fraction of what the smartphone in your pocket can store today. Yet despite these limitations, these DTRs were built with an almost defiant commitment to durability. Edix, the company that manufactured these unique DTRs, claimed that their units could process over 4,000 kilometers of magnetic tape without showing any visible wear and tear. Imagine a tape moving through a machine for such an incredible distance, yet remaining pristine. They had to be built to withstand the harshest environments imaginable, to endure cosmic radiation, extreme cold, and relentless vibration, undergoing rigorous tests that had never before been attempted for such a long-duration mission. And yet, the Voyager DTRs performed without data loss or machine failure, a testament to their exceptional design and construction. Voyager 1's DTR is still working to this day, a silent, humble workhorse patiently recording and replaying its cosmic memories. Voyager 2's DTR, on the other hand, was finally turned off in 2007 to conserve power, a necessary sacrifice in the ongoing battle against dwindling energy reserves. Not bad for machines that are 12 years older than the World Wide Web itself, a quiet echo from an analog past still contributing to our digital future. This meticulous attention to detail, this almost obsessive pursuit of reliability and redundancy, woven into every fiber of the probe's being, is what allowed the Voyagers to transcend their expected lifespan and become the enduring cosmic messengers they are today. It speaks to a deep respect for the unforgiving nature of space and an unwavering commitment to the longevity of their scientific quest. These seemingly simple choices made decades ago have allowed these whispers from the deep to continue shaping our understanding of the universe far beyond the wildest dreams of their creators. Let's gently delve deeper into the silent, diligent brains of the Voyager probes, the custom-built onboard computers that tirelessly guide them across the cosmic ocean. To our eyes today, these computers are undeniably antiquated. Imagine a device with the processing power of an old pocket calculator trying to run the intricate programs of a modern smartphone. The one in your pocket possesses a computing capability that dwarfs what these pioneering machines carried. Yet when they were launched in 1977, they were at the absolute cutting edge of what technology could offer. They were marvels of miniaturization and processing power for their time, painstakingly crafted to operate in an unforgiving environment for decades. These weren't just glorified calculators. They were the probe's silent, tireless brains, making crucial decisions and executing complex commands billions of miles from the human hands that built them. The iconic images that have reshaped our understanding of the outer solar system, Jupiter's swirling storms, Saturn's majestic rings, the eerie icy moons of Uranus and Neptune, were all captured by the probe's wide-angle and narrow-angle lens cameras. These cameras, the eyes of Voyager, were not simply point-and-shoot devices. Their intricate ballet of exposures, filters, and movements was orchestrated by a specific and vital computer system, the Computer Command Subsystem, CCS. Think of the CCS as a meticulous librarian, not just storing information, but carefully arranging and executing the requests for visual data. This CCS was not only loaded with detailed fixed programs for the initial planetary encounters, but also with vital safeguards. These included sophisticated fault detection and correction routines. Imagine a vigilant internal guardian constantly monitoring the probe's vital signs, quickly identifying any anomalies or malfunctions, and attempting to rectify them automatically without needing to wait for instructions from Earth. This autonomous capability was absolutely crucial for a mission operating at such immense distances where direct human intervention in real time was simply impossible. It allowed the probes to think for themselves, ensuring their survival and continued operation even when out of immediate human reach, a silent, watchful protector against the vast indifference of space. Another key to Voyager's enduring success lay in its other specialized onboard computers. Each probe had a computer called the Attitude and Articulation Control Subsystem, AACS. And no, it doesn't scold the Voyagers when they get sassy, nor does it judge their choices. In the precise language of spacecraft engineering, attitude refers to the probe's orientation with respect to the Earth and the distant stars. This might seem like a small technical detail, but its importance cannot be overstated. Without the correct attitude, imagine trying to have a conversation across a vast silent field with a friend. If you're not both facing each other directly, your voices will simply be lost to the wind, swallowed by the emptiness. For Voyager, if its large high-gain antenna wasn't precisely aimed back at Earth, it would be unable to accurately send or receive those precious faint signals from NASA's Deep Space Network. This pinpoint alignment is incredibly critical because the probe's transmitters have incredibly low power. We are talking about signals with only the wattage of a refrigerator light bulb. Imagine trying to project your voice across billions of kilometers with only the strength of a tiny glow. At such immense distances, remember Voyager 1 is over 23 billion kilometers away, their radio signals become barely detectable. Whispers, fragile echoes of light and information that are just a tiny fraction above the background noise of the universe. To communicate with the Voyager team back on Earth, and for the team to send commands to the probes, a delicate, almost spiritual connection must be maintained. The probe's antenna must be facing the Earth with unimaginable accuracy, and the Deep Space Network on Earth must, in turn, know exactly where the probes are in the vast, ever-expanding cosmos. Otherwise, that faint whisper would vanish, and the probes would be utterly lost like a single microscopic needle in a haystack, stretching 287 billion kilometers wide. An unfathomable expanse of nothingness. The AACS is the silent choreographer of this cosmic ballet, ensuring that this fragile, precious connection is maintained across the cosmic void. Each Voyager spacecraft features a large, gleaming 3.7-meter antenna for real-time transmission. Think of it as its primary voice and ear in the cosmos, a dish patiently listening for commands and bravely shouting its discoveries back home. But what about all the valuable data gathered when the antenna isn't perfectly aligned, or when there's simply too much information to send back instantaneously? For this crucial task, the probes were equipped with an 8-track digital tape recorder, DTR. Yes, a tape recorder. It sounds almost whimsical, doesn't it? a relic from the age of mixtapes and cassette players still operating at the edge of interstellar space. This DTR was designed to act as a temporary cosmic memory capable of buffering 536 megabits of data for future transmission. To give you a gentle sense of scale, that's enough to store roughly 100 photographs from the outer solar system, each a window into a previously unseen world. While this was a monumental leap forward from the earlier Pioneer probes, which had no onboard data storage at all, imagine having to send every single piece of information back instantly, or lose it forever. It's still a mere fraction of what the smartphone nestled comfortably in your pocket can store today. Yet despite these seemingly quaint limitations, these DTRs were built with an almost defiant commitment to durability. Edix, the company that manufactured these unique DTRs, made an astonishing claim their units could process over 4,000 kilometers of magnetic tape without showing any visible wear and tear. Imagine a tiny ribbon traveling through a complex machine for such an incredible distance, roughly the length of the entire United States, yet remaining pristine, its magnetic surface unblemished, ready for more data. These recorders had to be built to withstand the harshest environments imaginable. They had to endure the relentless assault of cosmic radiation, the bone-chilling extreme cold of deep space, and the constant subtle vibrations of a spacecraft moving through the void. They underwent rigorous tests, pushing the boundaries of material science and engineering tests that had never before been attempted for such a long-duration mission. And yet, despite these monumental challenges, the Voyager DTRs performed without data loss or machine failure for decades, a silent testament to their exceptional design and robust construction. Voyager 1's DTR is still working to this very day, a humble, tireless workhorse, patiently recording and replaying its cosmic memories, faithfully buffering information before beaming it back to us. Voyager 2's DTR, on the other hand, was finally turned off in 2007, not because it failed, but as a necessary sacrifice to conserve power in the ongoing delicate battle against dwindling energy reserves. It was a conscious decision to extend the life of other critical instruments. Not bad for machines that are 12 years older than the World Wide Web itself, a quiet echo from an analog past still contributing profoundly to our digital future. This meticulous attention to detail, this almost obsessive pursuit of reliability and redundancy woven into every fiber of the probe's being, is what allowed the Voyagers to transcend their expected lifespan and become the enduring cosmic messengers they are today. It speaks to a deep respect for the unforgiving nature of space and an unwavering commitment to the longevity of their scientific quest. These seemingly simple choices made decades ago have allowed these whispers from the deep to continue shaping our understanding of the universe far beyond the wildest dreams of their creators, proving that even the most outdated technology, when crafted with vision and care, can achieve truly timeless feats. Let's now turn our gentle gaze to a silent, anxious chapter in Voyager's long journey, a period of uncertainty that whispered fears into the hearts of even the most seasoned scientists, the perilous crossing of the asteroid belt. Durability, you see, was a chief concern, a constant quiet hum in the minds of the engineers during Voyager's planning stages. In a mission of this magnitude, stretching across such unimaginable distances, there were simply so many unknowns, so many vast dark spaces where anything might lurk. For generations ever since astronomers first glimpsed those tiny specks of rock orbiting between Mars and Jupiter, a common belief held sway. Scientists once truly believed that this region, the asteroid belt, would be an impassable barrier, a chaotic swirling maelstrom of debris that would inevitably shred apart any spacecraft brave or foolish enough to try and pass through it. Imagine a dense cosmic minefield, where every few moments a jagged shard of rock, or even a mountain-sized boulder, might cross your path with terrifying speed. The prevailing thought was that any attempt to traverse it would mean certain disaster, a premature end to any grand cosmic voyage. This apprehension was deeply ingrained. The asteroid belt in the collective scientific imagination was less of a belt and more of an impenetrable wall of cosmic shrapnel. It loomed as a major hurdle, a daunting test for any mission venturing beyond the inner solar system. The risk of even a tiny dust-sized particle striking a spacecraft at thousands of kilometers per hour was immense, potentially leading to catastrophic damage to delicate instruments or even a complete structural failure. Every bolt, every wire, every piece of insulation would be vulnerable in this imagined gauntlet. However, the path for Voyager was thankfully eased by the courageous journeys of two brave predecessors, Pioneer 10 and Pioneer 11. These earlier probes, designed with a similar spirit of exploration, had previously embarked on their own quiet adventures. And remarkably, they had been able to successfully pass through the asteroid belt, emerging unscathed on the other side. Think of them as the brave scout ships venturing into unknown, supposedly dangerous territory, and returning with news that the path, while perhaps not entirely empty, was certainly navigable. Their success was a powerful beacon, a profound validation of a new understanding of the asteroid belt's true nature. This quiet triumph of the Pioneer probes profoundly emboldened Voyager's team to repeat the stunt. It wasn't just a matter of technical possibility. It was a psychological turning point. The fear of the unknown had been replaced by the confidence of empirical evidence. If Pioneer could do it, then Voyager, built with even more meticulous care and foresight, could too. This didn't mean the risk vanished entirely, but it significantly reduced the cloud of dread that had once hung over this phase of the mission. The team could breathe a little easier, knowing that the impenetrable wall was, in fact, more like a sparsely scattered garden. Yet despite this newfound confidence, the stakes remained incredibly high. Failure at this early stage of the mission would have meant disaster even before the probes had reached their first grand targets, Jupiter and Saturn. Imagine a long, carefully planned journey, only to have it cut short at the very first gate before the true adventure could even begin. All the years of planning, the countless hours of design, the immense financial investment, and the hopes of an entire scientific community would have been dashed. The promise of new worlds, of unprecedented discoveries, would have remained just that, a promise unfulfilled. The silence from the deep would have been permanent. Luckily for all of us who marvel at Voyager's ongoing journey, both probes made it through the asteroid belt unscathed. Their passage was a quiet, almost uneventful affirmation of the Pioneer mission's findings. They traversed the supposed minefield with grace, emerging on the other side, ready for their planetary encounters. And thanks to their successful journeys and the data they quietly gathered during their transit, we now know that the asteroid belt is mostly empty space. It's not the dense, chaotic junkyard of our earlier fears, but a vast, silent region where the individual rocks are spread out across immense distances, making direct collisions a statistically rare event. It's like discovering that a seemingly crowded forest is, in fact, mostly open meadows with widely dispersed trees. This peaceful crossing of the asteroid belt was in its own way a profound early success for the Voyager mission. It was a victory over preconceived notions, a triumph of empirical data over theoretical apprehension. It cleared the path, literally and figuratively, for the grander discoveries that lay ahead, allowing the Voyagers to continue their long, silent march towards the outer giants and eventually into the vast, whispering darkness beyond our solar system. The overcoming of this initial silent hurdle solidified the team's belief in their creations and reinforced the idea that with careful planning and a little courage, even the most daunting perceived obstacles in the cosmos could be gently navigated, revealing a universe far more accommodating than we once dared to imagine. Let's now consider one of the most remarkable aspects of the Voyager mission, its enduring operation in the face of the universe's most extreme conditions. Even with all these early successes, and with the probes performing far better than their engineers could possibly have hoped for, as the two spacecraft traveled through the immense, silent vastness between the planets, there was still at least one more formidable hurdle to cross. What would truly happen to these delicate machines crafted in the warmth and relative safety of Earth. When they encountered the unimaginably cold temperatures of interstellar space, imagine a chill so profound it makes the deepest terrestrial winter feel like a warm summer day. This is the pervasive cold of the void, a silent, pervasive force that can freeze gases solid and make materials brittle. NASA, in its profound foresight, had installed multiple heaters throughout the probes strategically placed to keep the most vital machinery and sensitive scientific instruments operational. Think of these as tiny self-sustaining campfires tucked away within the metallic shells of the probes, gently radiating just enough warmth to keep the essential components from succumbing to the cosmic frost. These heaters were crucial, serving as a protective shield against the absolute zero of the vacuum, ensuring that circuits wouldn't shatter and lubricants wouldn't solidify. Nonetheless, as the probes continued their decades-long journey pushing further and further away from the sun, their power sources, the faithful RTGs, slowly but inevitably began to wane, just as a long-burning candle gradually dims its flame, shrinking as the wax diminishes. The electrical output from the plutonium-238 generators steadily declined. Facing this dwindling energy, NASA had to make difficult pragmatic decisions. To conserve precious power, they had to turn off some of their heaters. It was a delicate balancing act, a careful calculation of what could be sacrificed without jeopardizing the entire mission. They had to prioritize choosing which parts of the probe could endure the biting cold, allowing the remaining vital systems to continue their work. It was like an explorer in a remote, frigid landscape, carefully deciding which non-essential equipment to shed, ensuring enough energy remained for the core tasks of survival and exploration. One such moment of truth arrived about 2 years ago when the cosmic ray detector's heater was commanded to switch off. This instrument, vital for understanding the high-energy particles streaming through interstellar space, was now exposed to the raw, unbuffered cold. Its temperature plummeted dramatically by an astonishing 70 degrees. For context, imagine a comfortable room temperature suddenly dropping to the frigid depths of an Antarctic research station in mere moments. The expectation, the logical scientific conclusion, was that the instrument would simply break. The electronics, the delicate sensors, the very materials themselves were designed to operate within a certain temperature range. A drop of 70 degrees was well outside that margin, a stress test of the most brutal kind. Needless to say, sending a repair team 23 billion kilometers into space isn't an option. There are no cosmic mechanics, no roadside assistance in the interstellar void. The thought of a malfunction, particularly one caused by such extreme conditions, was a constant, silent apprehension. So everyone on the ground holding their breath across the vast distance fully expected the cosmic ray detector to cease functioning, to fall silent. But in a stunning testament to the profound resilience built into these ancient machines, and perhaps a touch of cosmic luck, it continued to run smoothly. Despite the bone-chilling cold, despite operating far beyond its designed parameters, the cosmic ray detector remained online, faithfully collecting data, sending back its whispers from the galactic frontier. It was a moment of quiet awe, a profound validation of the engineers' meticulous craftsmanship and the sheer robustness of their creation. It was like a delicate, intricate clock dropped into an icy river, yet somehow continuing to tick with perfect precision. The fact that the probes have operated so incredibly well for 45 years is not merely impressive. It is a profound testament to their resilience and the exceptional engineering that went into their construction. It speaks volumes about the quality of the materials, the robustness of the components, and the sheer ingenuity of the people who conceived them. They built not just machines, but enduring explorers capable of adapting and surviving in an environment that is utterly alien and hostile to life. But for any mission as long and as ambitious as Voyager's, there are always things no one can predict. The universe, in its boundless complexity, holds surprises that defy even the most meticulous planning and the most brilliant foresight. Not everything on the Voyager missions has worked perfectly, of course. The Voyager's team, those dedicated guardians on Earth, learned this recently when Voyager 1, our most distant messenger, started sending mysterious scrambled signals. It was like a dear old friend calling from far away, but their voice was distorted, their words a jumble. I've talked about this in more depth in another of my quiet stories, which you might find interesting. But for now, imagine the scene at a June 2022 meeting of the National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicine. NASA announced with a mixture of concern and bewildered admiration that Voyager 1's Attitude Articulation and Control System, AACS, that vital computer system we discussed earlier responsible for the probe's orientation, had been spitting back strange, almost nonsensical sequences of data. Picture rows of zeros or seemingly random jumbles of characters that appeared to be absolute nonsense. It was as if the probe, our steadfast explorer, had momentarily lost its internal compass, its sense of where it was in the vast cosmos. While the probe itself was operating normally in terms of its other functions, we knew its speed, its immense distance from us, and it was still responding to and taking commands. Its telemetry data, the vital stream of information about its internal health and status, was a complete scramble. In other words, Voyager 1 seemed to have no idea where it was. It was profoundly disorienting, like receiving a beautifully wrapped package only to find the contents are jumbled and unreadable. This peculiar behavior, this loss of self-awareness in the void, eventually turned out to be a quiet but definite sign of a failing computer module within the AACS. And although scientists, with their tireless dedication and ingenious problem-solving, were able to find a workaround, effectively moving the AACS operations over to a backup system, this incident served as a stark, gentle reminder. There will come a day when there are no more backups left. The well of redundancy so carefully filled decades ago will eventually run dry. But even as we ponder that inevitable future, we have so much to be profoundly thankful for. The resilience of these old machines, their ability to continue whispering secrets from the cosmic edge, is a legacy that will inspire generations. Let's gently pivot now to the less predictable aspects of Voyager's magnificent journey. The moments when the silent grand tapestry of its mission encountered an unexpected snag, a thread pulled awry. For any mission as long and ambitious as Voyager's, there are always things no one can truly predict. The universe, in its boundless complexity, holds surprises that defy even the most meticulous planning and the most brilliant foresight. Not everything on the Voyager missions has worked perfectly, of course. Even the most carefully crafted instruments can show signs of cosmic wear and tear or encounter phenomena beyond the realm of earthly anticipation. The Voyager's team, those dedicated guardians on Earth, who have watched over their distant charges for nearly half a century, learned this recently in a most peculiar way. It was when Voyager 1, our most distant and venerable messenger, began sending mysterious scrambled signals back home. Imagine a dear old friend calling you from a vast echoing distance, but their voice is distorted, their words a jumble of sounds that almost make sense, yet ultimately convey nothing coherent. This was the unsettling reality for the engineers and scientists at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. It was as if Voyager 1, after decades of clear communication, had suddenly begun to speak in riddles. I've talked about this in more depth in another of my quiet stories, which you might find interesting if you'd like to explore this particular puzzle further. But for now, let's bring our attention to the scene that unfolded at a June 2022 meeting of the National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicine. It was there that NASA announced with a mixture of concern and bewildered admiration the precise nature of this cosmic confusion. Voyager 1's Attitude Articulation and Control System, AACS, that vital computer system we discussed earlier, the silent ballet master responsible for the probe's precise orientation in space, had been spitting back strange, almost nonsensical sequences of data. Picture, if you will, endless rows of zeros or seemingly random jumbles of characters that appeared to be absolute nonsense, like a book filled with words that have no meaning, defying any attempt at translation. It was as if the probe, our steadfast explorer, had momentarily lost its internal compass, its fundamental sense of where it was in the vast, indifferent cosmos. The AACS is crucial for keeping Voyager's high-gain antenna pointed precisely at Earth. Without that exact orientation, the faint whispers of data cannot be received, and the commands from Earth can't reach the probe. So a scrambled AACS signal was more than just a minor glitch. It was a profound threat to the very lifeline of the mission. The truly perplexing part was that while the probe itself in its broader operations seemed to be functioning normally, its telemetry data, the vital stream of information about its internal health, temperature, power status, and scientific instrument readings, was a complete scramble. We knew its speed, its immense distance from us, and it was still responding to and taking commands. The basic connection was there, a pulse, a faint beat. But the detailed health report, the intricate story of its inner life, was utterly garbled. In other words, Voyager 1, our grand cosmic narrator, suddenly seemed to have no idea where it was or how it was holding itself in space. It was profoundly disorienting, like receiving a beautifully wrapped package, only to find the contents are jumbled, unreadable pieces, a collection of cosmic hieroglyphs. This peculiar behavior, this unsettling loss of self-awareness in the cold void, eventually turned out to be a quiet but definite sign of a failing computer module within the AACS. Imagine a tiny ancient part within a complex machine, after decades of faithful service, finally beginning to falter, its internal logic starting to fray. It wasn't a sudden catastrophic failure, but a slow, subtle degradation, whispering its distress through garbled messages. This module was subtly corrupting the data before it was sent to Earth, creating the strange, meaningless patterns. And although scientists, with their tireless dedication and ingenious problem-solving skills, were able to find a workaround, effectively moving the AACS operations over to a backup system, this incident served as a stark yet gentle reminder. The engineers on Earth, like cosmic detectives, worked meticulously to diagnose the problem from billions of miles away, deciphering the scrambled messages to understand the probe's predicament. They managed to switch the AACS to a backup computer, a system that had been dormant for decades, waiting patiently for its call to duty. This successful transition allowed Voyager 1 to once again orient itself correctly and send back coherent telemetry data. A sigh of relief breathed across the vast distance. However, this triumph, while immensely satisfying, came with a poignant realization. There will come a day when there are no more backups left. The well of redundancy so carefully filled decades ago by the foresight of the Voyager engineers will eventually run dry. These probes are operating on borrowed time, sustained by a dwindling reservoir of spare parts and alternative systems. Each successful switch to a backup is a quiet celebration, but also a gentle countdown. Still, even as we ponder that inevitable future, that day, when Voyager 1 finally falls silent, we have so much to be profoundly thankful for. The resilience of these old machines, their ability to continue whispering secrets from the cosmic edge for far longer than anyone ever dared to dream, is a legacy that will inspire generations. They are not just pieces of metal and wire. They are extensions of human curiosity. Silent poets broadcasting stories from the galactic frontier. Their struggles, their quiet acts of defiance against the harshness of space, only add to the rich tapestry of their incredible journey, reminding us that even in the face of the unknown, the spirit of exploration finds a way to endure. Let's now, with a soft sigh of wonder, contemplate the enduring legacy of the Voyager mission, a profound testament to what human ingenuity can achieve when it stretches its gaze across the vast cosmic canvas. It is a story not just of scientific discovery, but of quiet determination, of whispers turned into grand declarations from the edge of the known universe. First and foremost, the sheer magnitude of their journey is almost beyond comprehension. Voyager 1 has traveled farther than any other human-made object a solitary pioneer, etching a unique footprint on the sands of time and space, reaching distances beyond anything humanity had ever dared to dream. Its twin Voyager 2 follows closely behind a steadfast companion in this epic voyage. Imagine a tiny pebble flung from the shores of Earth, continuing its journey for nearly half a century now, light years away from its origin, still sending back faint signals. This solitary path, stretching across billions of kilometers, is a profound symbol of our species' innate drive to explore, to push boundaries, and to understand our place in the cosmic tapestry. The technology carried by these probes, though rudimentary by today's glittering standards, has truly shown us what can be done with even simple tools when combined with profound foresight and meticulous craftsmanship. It's a powerful and humble lesson, not raw power. Not the latest gadgetry, but rather wisdom, ingenuity, and a deep understanding of fundamental principles have been the true drivers of this mission's success. The 8-track tape recorders, the small memory computers, the low-wattage transmitters. These seemingly humble components, when crafted with care and deployed with vision, became the eyes and ears of humanity at the farthest reaches of our solar system. It reminds us that often the most enduring achievements are built not on fleeting trends, but on solid, timeless foundations. The discoveries brought back by the Voyagers have been a monumental step forward in our understanding of our solar system. They have painted vivid portraits of the gas giants, revealing swirling storms on Jupiter, the intricate dance of Saturn's rings, the peculiar tilt of Uranus, and the distant icy storms of Neptune. Worlds previously seen only as fuzzy, distant points of light. They revealed volcanic activity on Io, the potential ocean beneath Europa's icy crust, and the bizarre nitrogen-rich atmosphere of Titan. These are not just data points. They are new chapters added to the grand ongoing book of the universe, enriching our collective knowledge and igniting the imaginations of generations. The Voyagers have expanded our cosmic neighborhood, transforming distant blurs into vibrant, dynamic worlds. And so, as we look to the horizon to that inevitable day, when we do finally say goodbye to this old earthbound friend Voyager 1 and its steadfast twin Voyager 2, when their last whisper fades into the cosmic background noise and their silent journey truly begins, it will be a moment of quiet reflection, perhaps tinged with a gentle melancholy. But it will also be a profound opportunity. It will be time to apply the invaluable engineering lessons of the past, the wisdom gleaned from these decades-long journeys, to try and recreate the magic with a successor. Already the seeds of future exploration are being sown. There is a compelling proposal from the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory for an interstellar probe that would build directly upon the legacy of Voyager. Imagine a new generation of cosmic explorers conceived with the very lessons learned from Voyager's long and arduous journey. This ambitious new probe would aim to launch in 2036 and remarkably reach interstellar space in just 15 years, a swift sprint compared to Voyager's patient crawl. It would be designed with cutting-edge technology, capable of even deeper and faster exploration, a new chapter in our ongoing quest to understand the space between the stars. Of course, even if this new interstellar probe does launch and achieves its incredible velocity by the time it is reporting back from the fringes of interstellar space, decades from now, it too will be a thing of the past. Its own advanced technology will be deemed antiquated by the standards of that future era, replaced by yet newer innovations. And there is something profoundly inspiring in that. It's a gentle reminder that knowledge is a river, not a stagnant pool. It flows continuously, always renewing itself, always moving forward, carrying us further into the boundless depths of understanding. Each discovery, each technological leap, is but a fleeting moment in a much larger eternal journey of inquiry. This continuous cycle of obsolescence and innovation of old wisdom, informing new endeavors, is the very heartbeat of scientific progress. It underscores the beautiful truth that our quest for knowledge is unending. The Voyagers, in their quiet, relentless journey, have taught us not only about the distant cosmos, but also about ourselves, our insatiable curiosity, our remarkable resilience, and our capacity to dream across light years. When they finally fall silent, their legacy will continue to echo, a timeless whisper encouraging us to look up to wonder and to keep reaching for the stars, knowing that the journey itself is the true destination. Well, that's all we have time for today. I hope you've enjoyed listening to this quiet journey into the incredible engineering choices behind Voyager 1 and 2 and the profound lessons they continue to teach us. If you like what you've heard, please feel free to follow us for more gentle explorations into other fascinating space topics. But for now, I'm Alex Molan, and this has been Astron. All the best, and see you next time. May your dreams be filled with the quiet wonder of the cosmos.